Hi all, thank you so much for joining us on the webinar today. And as I said, this is Mohammed here again from Vembu Technologies, and I'll be hosting today's webinar. So before we begin with today's webinar, I just want to give you a small update here. So all the attendees here are muted. So in case if you have any questions or any concerns regarding the webinar or the product, you can anytime reach the support team or the sales team, or you can drop us an email anytime. I'll show you the contact numbers are listed on our website itself. So here to begin with, today's webinar is on enhanced VMware Backup and Replication with Vembu VMBackup, that is version 3.6. So alright, so we'll talk about the company here, just a brief introduction. So we founded in the year 2004, and we have about 4,000 plus channel partners all around the world. So we are private companies, profitable since 2006, and we are headquartered in Chennai, and we have reached more than 60,000 businesses so far. So we have about 70% of our customers from North America, and we have 20% from Europe and 10% from the other part of the world. And to look about, we are currently providing the product, we call it as a Vembu BDR suite. So here Vembu BDR suite is an one-stop solution to all your backup and disaster recovery needs, catering to the requirement of small and medium business customers. So with the Vembu BDR suite, these are the products we have. The first one is VM Backup. So it's typically to back up and replicate HyperV and VMware environment. And then we have image backup solution, so to back up Windows, physical, images of a desktop or a backend server. You will be using the image backup client. And then we have a network backup. So it's typically for backing up files and folders, and also applications from Windows and Linux environment. And then we have online backup. This backup solution is similar to the network backup solution. So it will back up files and folders and applications, but the online backup solution will back up directly to our cloud. So the other three products, we have the top three: VM Backup, Image Backup, and Network Backup. For all these three backup solutions, you will be having a dedicated server, the Vembu BDR server, installed at your site. Only for online backup, the backup data will go directly to our cloud. And we also have something called a SaaS backup, which is especially to back up Office 365 and Google Apps. And then we also have, apart from the major products, we also have add-on products here with Vembu BDR suite. So we provide Vembu Offsite DR, it's an add-on service to Vembu BDR backup server. So as I told you, for you will be having your own BDR server installed locally or in an offsite location based on the requirement. So for that, if you need a copy of the BDR server to be on another site, on a DR site, you will use the Vembu Offsite DR option. And this will have an option to replicate your BDR server to another location using Vembu Offsite DR. And then we have the Vembu Cloud DR. So in case if you want the Vembu BDR local backup server to have a copy of on somewhere on the cloud, we provide this option, so you can have the the local BDR server replicated to the Vembu cloud. And then we have Vembu BDR 360. It helps you with 24/7 availability for monitoring and managing all your local BDR servers. So it's a management tool. For example, if you have like 10 or 12 BDR servers in different locations, and if you want to monitor it from one single console, you will be just installing the installer, the Vembu BDR 360 installer on each server, and we provide it's a web console actually, so through the web interface monitor all your local BDR servers. And then we have Vembu Universal Explorer. So for example, if you have backed up like Microsoft Exchange, Microsoft SQL Server and SharePoint and Active Directory. So for these applications, if you want to perform the granular recovery from the database, you will be using the Vembu Universal Explorer. So this was available on the website, and there is no charges for this tool. It's just like whenever you have a scenario where you have the Exchange or SQL database and you want to perform a granular like mail level restore or a database level restore. So with this Universal Explorer, you can go ahead and you can perform the instant recovery. And then we come up to the point where we want to know why we have to, you have to use the Vembu VMBackup. So the challenges here in today's environment, the backups for a virtual environment is very difficult and it is expensive as well. And so all it requires is a different approach. So the solution what we have here is that the Vembu VMBackup it is exclusively designed for the environment, the virtual environments like HyperV and VMware, and it has been designed by the expert in the industry. So it also fills the purpose here to be best in breed in technology and providing a manageable solution and affordable cost for both VMware and the HyperV environment. So we'll look into the RTO, the recovery time objective. So we offer the industry's best recovery time objective, which is less than 15 minutes. So for example, if you have an instant virtual machine or an image backup of a physical machine backed up to the local BDR server, and if you would like to perform a file level restore, or if you want to boot the machine instantly, you can use these options. So we have instant virtual machine recovery on the BDR server. As we recommend always to be a Windows 2008 R2 or a 2012 R2 machine. So these machines will automatically, it will have HyperV enabled on those machines. So on the and when you have the virtual machines backed up, so you can perform the instant recovery on the BDR server, and you can also perform the instant file level recovery, where you can mount the backed up data to the disk management, and you will be able to perform the file level recovery. So I'll show you these options in the later part in the demo. And as I was discussing earlier, you also have the Explorer, the Vembu Universal Explorer, to perform the database level or a mail level restore, like granular level restore for the Microsoft applications. And the RPO, the recovery point objective, is like we provide the near continuous data protection without affecting the production data center. So it's like you can back up, you can automate backup and replication scheduling. So you can also back up when the backup frequencies start within less than 15 minutes. So you can assure the RPO less than 15 minutes. And then we also provide the backup verifications for every image backup you do. The backup should be recoverable. So if not, it is worthless or useless. So we provide the backup verification option. So this backup verification can be automated to run post completion of every backup schedule or just once in a day. So in the process, the booting of the backup virtual machines or a physical machine will be carried out on the backup server, on the Vembu VDR backup server in the backend, and the boot screenshot will be captured and it will be sent to the administrator just to let them know that the backups are consistent. And then we also have the the efficient storage management with the Vembu VDR. So we use our own file system, that is Vembu Hive file system, which is is an efficient cloud file system designed for large scale backup and disaster recovery applications. So we also called it as for the Vembu file system, Hive file system, as it's defined as a file systems for file system. So we support for the storage, we support like SAN, NAS, and DAS, and we also support automatically scale up and scale out for the storage devices. And we got the inbuilt version control and error correction, and also inbuilt compression and encryption. And we also got the best part here, which is migration plan. So anytime customers will be having a requirement where they want to convert the physical machine to virtual or a virtual machine to virtual. So here with Vembu, we provide a cost-effective solution. So with this, you have less downtime, and with this solution, you can use this conversion like physical to virtual and virtual to virtual conversion in just few minutes. So we have an inbuilt solution to all the migration plans. So we support instant creation of VMDK, VHD, and RAW files for backed up virtual and physical machines, so that user can instantly start migrating from physical to virtual or virtual to virtual environment. So I'll show you this in the later part. It will give you a clear understanding on how the the migration can be done just by downloading the required files. So this is actually an architecture, the Vembu architecture. So from the website, whenever you are planning to test the product, the Vembu VDR product, so on the website you can go to vembu.com downloads, and you can go to Vembu VDR Suite. So you will be having a Windows downloader, installer available. You can download that on the dedicated machine. So you should have a Windows 2008 R2 or Windows 2012 R2. Or if you, in case just for the testing, if you need a Linux environment, we also support on Ubuntu 14.04 LTS or 12.04 LTS. So for the Linux environments, the server builds will be as per the request. So if you need it, you can request to the support team, and the support team will be mailing you the download link so that you can download and you can install it on a Linux environment, and you can test it. But for Windows, it is available on the website. So once you install the downloader, you will get the the VM backup proxy available on the BDR server itself. So it will be a server web console from where you will be having the option to configure the VMware and HyperV hosts. So once those VMware and HyperV hosts are added on the BDR server, you can choose either the either you can choose the host level, or just you can choose the individual machines which you are planning to backup, and the backup will happen, and the storage it will be stored on the Vembu VDR server. And if you need a copy of the local Vembu VDR server, you can enable the offsite DR. It can go to any other location. If you have an offsite location where you would like to have a copy of the local VDR server, you can install the offsite DR application on any other location, and you can the data will transfer through LAN, or it will happen through WAN as well. And we also have cloud DR option, as I discussed. If you don't have the offsite DR site, like any DR site, if you would like to have it on the Vembu cloud, so you can replicate the BDR server, you can enable replication through the cloud server. It will back up directly to the Vembu cloud. And finally, we have something called as Vembu portal. It's nothing but the web interface. Once you register with Vembu portal, you will be from here you will be managing all the licenses, the assigning of the licenses, and the billings. Everything will be done through the Vembu portal. So it's nothing but a portal, a web interface, a web portal where you will be assigning all the licenses to the required client. So every in every day, in every interval, there will be the BDR server will be connecting to your Vembu portal, and it will be fetching the license information to keep the the clients active and the backups active. Right, so let's see the VMware Backup and Replication here. This is the today's webinar we have. So the backup, multiple VMs in single backup job, or option to create multiple backup jobs with groups of VM is available. So, and also we support the VMware ESXi host and vCenter servers, and the support for ESXi host starts from version 4.0 and above. And then we have we also support vCenter server starting from version 4.1 and above, and we also got like IP and network remapping support for replicated VM. So I'll show you this in the later part on the demo. And here it's another example, like an architecture of how the agentless VMware Backup and Replication works. So once you install the Vembu VDR server on any local machine, you will have the VM backup proxy, which will be connecting to the VMware ESXi host, or if it's a vCenter, it will be connecting to the vCenter, and the backup it will back up and through the same client, you will be able to perform the restore as well. So here it explains like VM Backup will communicate with ESXi production storage, and it will back up the VM data, and then you have like the Vembu VM Backup agent will communicate with the VMware ESXi production storage and replicate the VM data to another ESXi host. So every time the backup happens, the ESXi the VMware it will work as a proxy between the BDR web server and the ESXi host. So also VM backup data will be compressed and it will be encrypted on the fly. VM data will be compressed and encrypted at the rest on the storage repositories as well. So it's the VM backup client is actually it is just like a proxy here. So once you install the BDR server, through the BDR server itself, the vCenter or the ESXi host can be added, and the replication can be configured from the same console as well. So we also support like different transport modes. So the client agent transfers the VM data through the different modes. So based on the agent's installation and VMware environment, so Vembu VM Backup will automatically choose what type of transfer mode you have. So there are like transfer mode we support is like direct SAN mode, or we have Hotat mode, or we also have the network transfer mode. So you can configure the Vembu VM Backup client so to use the any one of the above mode permanently. So here it will show you how the direct SAN transport mode is going to work. So on the VM Backup, you have to the VM Backup client should have access to the SAN, and it works on both physical servers through the fiber channel, or if it's a VM, if it's a virtual machine, that it will work through the ESXi channel. And then we have the Vembu VM Backup client will directly read the data which needs to be backed up from the SAN, and it will send the data to the Vembu backup server repository. So once the backup is initiated, the metadata request will be sent, and there will be a response and through the client, and then the data alone will be transferred directly from the SAN to the BDR storage repositories through these channels. And we have Hotat Transfer mode. So Vembu VM Backup clients needs to be installed on any one of the Windows VM or you may have a dedicated VM to enable Hotat Transfer mode. So the virtual disks on the of the virtual machine which needs to be backed up will be directly attached to the VM Backup client. Normally it is like over there you had the on the first part was a little different where the VM Backup client was not on the same host, it was agentless. But here for the Hotat Transfer mode, the agent has to be installed in any one of the virtual machine on the ESXi host. So once it's been added, whichever machines are selected for the backup, all those disks will be attached to the client, and the data will be transferred directly to the VM Backup server. And finally we have the network transfer mode. So this is the regular transfer mode we have here. So Vembu VM Backup client agent will be either installed on a physical or a virtual machine. So ESXi host will read and send the VM Backup data, and then it will send the BDR Backup server storage repositories. So it's like first the VM Backup client will read the data, and then it will get a response to the VM Backup client, and then the data will be transferred to the storage repositories. So it transferred data over the TCP/IP connection between the ESXi host and the VM Backup client, and the data transfer speed will be lower compared to the other two transfer mode. All right, we'll just look into the the demo here. Just bear with me 1 minute. All right, thank you so much for your time. And this is actually the web console. So once you download the BDR from our website, to any one of your dedicated 2012 or 2008 R2 machine from the download, so you have the download available, the BDR suite. So once it's been downloaded and installed, this is how it will look like. So you will get a 30-day trial. And first we'll see the backup for VMware. So if you're planning to back up a VMware environment, so this first of all, the BDR server should be at the local in a local network where the ESXi host is available, because for the consistency of the data and the stability, we are strongly recommending to have the BDR server on the same network. And if you need a copy of the local server to be at a different site for DR needs, just in case if you like to have the the data on a different location just for your convenience, then you can use the Vembu offsite DR option. So you can replicate this server, the local server, to the offsite location, and you will have all the recovery features identical to what you have on the local BDR server. And so let's see the demo just installed here. So once it's been installed, this is how the console will look like. So you will add the storage through the storage management, the first step itself. And for backing up VMware, you will go to backup and VMware vSphere. Over here you will be adding the vSphere or the vCenter first. So you need to enter the credentials for the VMware vSphere. So once the credentials are entered, you will have the host added to this application, and once it's added, this is how it will look like. You can choose backup now, which will list all the available VMs. Either you can choose host level, or you can choose VM level. And if it's like a vCenter, you can choose like multiple hosts in a single backup job, and you can proceed further. And we also have added here like the disk exclusion. So this is nothing but you can exclude or include the disk whichever you would like. So if you want only to back up the system partition, you can choose this option. And if you want to exclude the disks from all selected VMs, you can choose the disks which you would like to exclude, and you can proceed further with the configuration. And you have the frequency, as I was talking about. We give the RPO of 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes you can schedule the backups, and you can choose based on your requirement, and you can proceed. So we provide basic retention, as well as we also have like advanced retention here, where you will be having the option to perform the daily merges, weekly merges, and monthly merges. And we also provide the application aware option. So in case if the virtual machines are running with any of the application like Exchange or SQL, for those you can enable the application aware option here. So to back up, to have the backup data consistent and to the truncate log based on your requirement, you can choose it. And for truncating log, you have to enter the guest machine credential so that it will the process the truncating the logs. And once the retentions are configured, you will just give the backup name, and you will save the backup job. And it will, as I was discussing you, depends upon the transport mode you have, the back data will be backed up, and once the backup is completed, you will be able to see the backup jobs available under the recovery option. So for a VMware or HyperV or any backup jobs from the network backup client or image backup client or a VM backup client, you can directly point to the local BDR server on the same network, and you will have all the backup data available under the recovery. So here for VM, we'll look into the restore options here. Before we get into the restore option, I'll quickly give you information about the VM replication we have here with the Vembu VDR 3.6. So for replicating, you will again choose the VMware vSphere. So once it's selected, first it will ask you to add the host, and once the host has been added which you're planning to backup, this will be the source. So I have already added one of the hosts here, so you will click on replicate now, and it will again show you the list of virtual machines running. So you can either choose the host level or a machine level, and you can use the same option, like you can exclude or include the disks, and proceed further and select the frequency for replicating. So before we saw the frequency for backup, but here it is the frequency for replication, how frequent you would like to backup, and we also have the application available for this, and the target replication host. So here the other host where you want to replicate the the virtual machines. For example, if you have like 10 machines running on a ESXi host, and there are 5 machines critical, and you can use replication option, and you can choose those 5 machines and select the target host which is available on the same network, and you have to add the host here, the target host here, by clicking on add VMware server. So it will again ask you the host name, the password, so the credentials. So once it's entered, you will have it available here, and once it's available, you will choose the data store for the target machine, and the suffix name just to identify what are the machines you're replicating. And we also have the retention count, like the maximum we give like 7. So it's nothing but the the true incrementals. So only the first backup will be the full backup, and apart from that, every backup job which is going to run, it will be incremental. So only the modified files will be backing up. So once it's configured, you can proceed further, and you can also configure the the network. So network mapping can be helpful for you in case you're using a different network. So you can choose like what network you have on the source machine, and also a network on the target machine. In case of in the DR, in case if there's any issue, you can configure the table maps to match the production and the DR site. So once it's configured, you can proceed further. We also provide the network ReIP mapping, so you can set the rule in order to match the IP addresses for the DR site. So in this situation, you can configure a number of ReIP rules for replication jobs. So when you perform a failover, so Vembu Backup and Replication will check if the configured ReIP rules apply for the VM replica, that is nothing but the replicated machine. So if a ReIP rule applies, the VM replica will get a new IP address according to the new network mask, and you will be able to reach the VM replica and the DR site. So you can just add the rule, whichever rule you want to set, you can select it and you can add the rule, and you can proceed further. So once you review the settings, you will give a replication schedule name. So once the schedule is saved, all the the replicated machines will be created on the target machine, and the data from the source machine will be transferred to the replication server. So the backup frequencies, based on that, the replication will be happening. And whenever you have a disaster, and if you want to do the failover, you will be manually performing the failover on the replication server, and you can start using the replicated machines. And here we got the recovery scenarios here on the local BDR server. We have a couple of advanced features available for the restore. So I'm selecting a backup job, and I have clicked on recovery. So here we provide like the instant recovery, as we was talking about, like 15 minutes. We say like 15 minutes the RTO, where you can instantly perform the instant recovery of a backed up virtual machine or image backup. So you will select the instant recovery. You will choose the timestamp from which you want to perform an instant recovery. So the instant recovery will work for all your Windows 2008 and 2012 R2 machines, because you will have the Hyper-V already available on it. So it's asking me to choose the the type of the virtual environment. So I'm selecting Hyper-V, which is already available here. So in case if you want to do it on the VMware environment, you can also do that. If you have an ESXi host where you want to instantly perform the create a machine, a virtual machine which you have backed up, you can choose the VMware as well, and you can enter the credentials. So the backed up machines, whichever environment it doesn't matter. It will automatically create a machine on the Hyper-V or on the VMware, and you can start using the machine. So here I'm selecting Hyper-V, and I'm just reviewing the status, and we'll proceed like restore. So here the backed up machine name was VMware Backup, so we'll go to Hyper-V. Alright, so here the machine has created and it has just started. So once you would like to connect to it, you can just go and connect, and you can start the machine. So this is a virtual machine, like a VMware backed up machine, and I'm booting up on the Hyper-V on the BDR server. So it's an instant recovery. So it's just less than 15 minutes. Well, you can perform an instant recovery, and you can start working on the machine in case of disaster. So also we got another couple of options there. Alright, so the first option was instant boot, and then we have option to perform like file and folder level recovery. So it's nothing but you will choose the alright, so before we look into the file level recovery, we also have like live recovery to ESXi server. So once you have the virtual VMware virtual machines backed up, if you would like to do a recovery to a different ESXi server available, you can choose this option, the live recovery to an ESXi server, and you can proceed further. Again, the same options will be available. You need to choose the timestamp, select the virtual machine which you want to restore, and it will ask you to enter the target location. So once you enter the target location, a machine will be created on the other ESXi host, and you can start working on it. So that's the second option, second recovery option you have there. And you also have like file and folder level recovery. So once you choose this, once you select the the timestamp which you want to perform, like for example, if you have the VMware and Hyper-V backup, and if you just want to restore a single file or a folder, you can use this option, file and folder recovery. So what it will do is it will automatically mount the backed up image to the disk management, and you will be able, the disks will be available under the Explorer, and you can go ahead and you can explore the files. And we also provide the disk level recovery for restore VM backups at disk level, where the backed up disk can be restored to a target virtual machine in an ESXi host. So that is also available. And finally, we have like download option, where for any type of environment, if you're doing a Hyper-V or a VMware or a physical disk image, you will get this conversion instantly. So if you have the physical machine backed up, and if you want to convert the physical machine to a virtual machine, a VMware environment, so you'll get the option like to download the as VMDK flat or VMDK, and you can boot the machine on an you can create a machine on the ESXi host, and you can start working. Or if you want it on the Hyper-V, you can use the VHD or VHDX, and you can create a machine on the on the Hyper-V, and you can start working on it. So the download option is again the same. You will choose the version whichever you are planning to restore, and you will choose the virtual machine and select the target location, and then you will get the different formats available here. So whichever format you want, you will choose, and you will proceed further, and the data will be downloaded in different format for all the image backups you perform. And apart from the recovery recovery part, we also have the management, where you will be managing the storage And as I was telling you, it has the scale up and scale out for the storage repositories. So you can add a network drive if you have a SAN or a NAS. You can add it here, and you can select it as a repository. So the data, all the backed up data, will be stored to the selected storage drive. And we also got the offsite copy management. So as I was discussing you, if you'd like to have a replicated copy of the local BDR server, you will enable the offsite copy management, and either you can do it to Vembu Cloud, or you can do it directly to your own data center just by installing the offsite DR server application there, and you can start replicating. So the recovery part for both the local BDR server and on the offsite DR server will be the exact same. And here, as I was telling you, we give like 30-day of trial for every install on the for the backup server. So you can download and you can install the product anytime. And if you would like to back up files and other complete image backup of a server or a desktop, you can use the image backup client. So different clients are available under the download option here. So you will get the different download clients to download, and you can start working on it. And in case if you have any questions or any concerns on today's webinar, or on the product or on the features which we have, so you can very well email or you can directly call us to the support team. We work here for 24/7, and we will be happy to help you with that. And once again, thank you so much for joining us on the webinar today. It was a pleasure hosting a webinar here, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.